Good evening, friends. I hope all of you are safe and sound within the four walls of your house. Today, I'm going to read a few extracts from my book on Martin Luther King Jr. Only in Darkness Can You See the Stars. And also, allow me to thank all of you who have been magnanimous enough, generous enough to not only buy my book, but also review it on Amazon and Goodreads. So, here is the book. And now let me begin from the beginning. No, not from the beginning. Let me begin from the prologue, from the end. His funeral service. Here I go. At the funeral service at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where both father and son had served as pastors, there was a massive turnout. As Alfred Daniel Williams King, AD, his younger brother, tried to wipe his tears, and Martin's wife Coretta, sad in sad elegance, the senior kings bowed down under the burden of grief. The king children, too small to understand the colossal loss that they had suffered. Suddenly, his deep and beautifully modulated voice echoed in the quiet confines of the church. A disembodied voice which had delivered a historic sermon on 4th February 1968, just 2 months before, in the same church, giving a new definition of greatness. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. The heart full of grace had stopped beating, and his family was devastated. Was her beloved husband really no more? An utterly distraught Coretta asked herself, would they never ever hear or see their beloved son again? The senior kings thought with a stab of anguish, while the children hoped that their father would suddenly appear before them and everything would be all right. Bernice, the youngest child, only 5, sat in her mother's lap, looking around dazedly, wondering how she could still hear her beloved dad's voice if he was no more. As thoughts churned in their minds, the voice went on. I would like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others, tried to love somebody, tried to be right on the war question. He did try to feed the hungry, to clothe those who were naked, tried in my life to visit those who were in prison, tried to love and serve humanity. The recorded voice echoed in the hall, and the senior kings closed their tear-filled eyes as splintered chunks of memory, shards of nostalgia poked them from all directions, forming a crazy collage of tinker toys, juvenile pranks, grins, giggles and guffaws, sibling rivalries, storytelling sessions, music lessons, parental reprimands, and childish escapades in 501 Auburn Avenue. And a happy but cloudy day just 39 years ago, when a reluctant son had ripped apart the clouds of uncertainty with a delayed but lusty roar to be born into an unjust world. Thank you so much for listening.